morning, everybody else, or I should be saying good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are in the world. So myself and Des are actually here in New Zealand. It has just gone 5:30 in the morning on a Friday for us. And one of the things that we are trying to do, or was on our hearts, is both Desiree and I are immigrants to New Zealand. We both moved here just over 3.5 years ago. And one of the things that we wanted to do was help as many other people as possible that are considering moving here and are on this immigration journey. We really just wanted to pay it forward and share as much as possible and try and help you guys, if you're going on this journey, have a softer landing than we did. Now, why Des and I? Why can we help? Okay, well, there's a couple of reasons. First of all, we've both done it, and that's why we're here. It's been a roller coaster ride of a journey moving to New Zealand. But we can definitely share a lot of stories, ask a lot of questions, answer a lot of questions about the process and the journey of migrating to New Zealand. But also, I've got over 15 years in managing people, and how that helps is I've been on both sides of the fence where I've had to interview for positions in New Zealand, meaning trying to hire people. So I can share a lot of information when you're trying to do your job search in New Zealand. But also I've been on the end where I've had to apply for positions out of country to get my job in New Zealand and move around within New Zealand. So I can help with a lot of that as well. And then Des, who I'm so excited that's joining me so early in the morning, she's actually, she's a registered legal immigration advisor. So she can actually give legal immigration advice. So even if you have questions here on anything visa related and all the rest of it, she can answer a lot of that legally, whereas I couldn't answer that before. Over and above, she can share her story as well and tell you what it was like for her and her family moving across here. So the whole idea is we just really want to be able to pay it forward and help as many of you as possible on this immigration journey. So if any of you do have questions, I can see you've started joining, so it's so nice to have you join us this morning. Put it in the comments, and Des and I will jump in and we'll answer as many questions as possible around potentially moving to New Zealand. So with that, maybe one of the things I'll start sharing is, Des, I was thinking just to talk a little bit around the, when you're trying to find a job here, one of the big things in New Zealand is, you know, they're all about relationships. It's all good and well having the skill and everything like that, but one of the hardest parts about finding a job is actually, sometimes it's who you know, and it's not only who you know, it's who you knows knows what you know, okay? So that they will almost want to consider you for a position. I don't know what your thoughts are on relationships here and finding jobs and, you know, work and all the rest of it. Keen to hear.
So my stance on that is I'm always encouraging applicants and migrants to start on LinkedIn and actually start connecting with employers and connecting with people that are at the same level as them in the role that they're looking for. The more people that you can connect with, and I don't mean just connect with them once and never speak to them again, I mean actually connect with them, explain why you're doing this process, chat to them. If you're looking for someone within the company, maybe look for someone who you can see is from the same country as you are or speaks the same language as you speak. Find something that you can find in common with one of the employees at the company that you're looking for and create that relationship with them. It's always easy to say no to a CV. There's no person behind it. The moment you give yourself a personal approach where it's someone within the company that's recommending your CV because they know you as a person, it makes you stand out. You're not one of 100 anymore. You're an actual face, a name, a person, someone with feelings and skills and background, and they verify or they can trust that you are who you say you are. You're not just a piece of paper. Absolutely agree with that statement.
Look, I think, let's be real, I think the hardest part that a lot of people will say, it's not so easy just to be able to reach out to people you don't know, especially when you're in another country. And sometimes you reach out and you try connect using LinkedIn and people just, they don't respond, they won't connect with you, which is tough. I know that, Des, both you and I have created a community where we've got a safe community called Soft Landing, where a whole lot of people that are trying to immigrate come together and support one another. And I've heard from some of the community members that are actively looking for jobs at the moment, one of them just this past week said one of the toughest things for them was actually just having the courage to reach out and connect with those people. It really takes a lot in you because you're like, oh, they don't know me, and those rejections, and it's hard. But I think what I encourage a lot of people to do is you're going to try and make those connections via LinkedIn, and you are going to get people that just ignore you. You know, it is tough, but if you don't try, you're not going to make the connections. But there is also a way to go about it. There's definitely a way to try use the connections you've got, the way that you can filter in LinkedIn to try find the right people in the right companies, in the right levels that you want to try connect with. And then the way that you try reach out to them with the wording in your message to them, the way that, oh, it sounds terrible now, you even stalkerish in looking some of them up a little bit, seeing what their posts are, what their interests are, and you're not reaching out directly to them to say, hey, please help me find a job. Because that's the biggest, they don't want to talk to you. It's more, like you said, Des, reaching out and explaining what's your situation. Look, I'm also a fellow South African, or I'm a fellow immigrant, or I'm also built from here, or I'm also in this industry, and I just like to bounce this off you or get a little bit of guidance from you. So I think that's the way it's building a relationship. It's not just going straight into, hey, help me find a job, because that doesn't work. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I can really attest with that. And I always find the clients of mine that are most successful are those that have really taken that on board, and they've taken it one step further. Because I always tell them, even if they're coming over on a visitor visa and they're visiting New Zealand, I always tell them, oh, what would you do at home? Then they're like, oh, well, I'd go to church, or I'd go and play cricket, or I'd go play tennis. I'm like, great, do this while you're here in New Zealand. Go to church, go meet people, put yourself out there. I know it's the most difficult thing ever, but if you're not going to put yourself in front of people, whether it's online and getting to know them, or actually putting yourself in a face-to-face situation where you're going to get to know someone, you simply, it's as simple as this. You need that recommendation, or you need that person who knows someone else, or you need just that person to verify, hey, this is an actual person and I know them. And that changes an interview, or changes a possibility of getting an interview so much. And those are the clients that I always find are most successful. Yes, you're going to get 10 no's before you get a yes. And I know it's an uncomfortable situation. It is. I mean, some of us have been in our roles for 25 years and we're getting a no for the first time in 25 years. It's hard. It's really hard, but you just need to persevere. Rather try and fail than fail to try, because then you're never going to get anywhere.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I'm going to ask you a little bit more. You've touched on something with saying you've been in your roles for X amounts of years and getting those no's. But before I ask that question, Des, first off, I'd just like to thank so many people for joining us. It's really awesome to have you here and listening in. As I said, we're just trying to pay it forward, share as much as possible with you guys about our immigration journey to New Zealand, answer any questions you may have. Des is a licensed immigration advisor, so if you have any questions there, she can answer. We've both been here for over 3.5 years. We've journeyed here from South Africa to New Zealand, so we can share anything that you have questions on related to that journey. I'm also a hiring manager here in New Zealand, done lots of interviews with people here in New Zealand, so I can share with what we're looking for and how the interview process works here. So just reminding you guys, please, if you have any questions, please post it. We're really here, and we're going to do this every week, same time slot at 5:30 for us in the morning before the sun even rises and the kids are still asleep upstairs. But try and make it every week, same time slot. So join us, ask questions. We're here to help you so that you clear up anything you may have on your mind about the immigration journey to New Zealand. So Des, just getting back into it. So one of the things that you hit on that is so true for me since I've moved here. I moved here when I'm already in my 40s, okay? So back in South Africa, I'd been working for over 20 years. And in that 20 years, one of the things that I underestimated the most after coming here is those relationships I'd naturally built over the 20 years of being in South Africa in my industry. Meaning in my career, there's certain people I just got to know in the industry. I got to know certain companies. And you almost had those relationships. So even when you were potentially looking for jobs or moving around in South Africa, you knew people and you had connections. And people also, when you spoke to them and went for interviews, they knew the companies you had worked for in the country you were in. Once I got here and was actually applying for jobs and meeting people, one, people don't know me. I don't have those connections. That was hard, trying to build those career-related business connections that I had to start all over again with. But also people didn't know me. And when you tell them, oh, I worked for this company and that company, they're like, okay, well, what did that company do? You know, it wasn't like they didn't know, especially unless they were South African. So it's rebuilding that all over again, which was tough. And sometimes I had to take a bit of a step back in my positions and everything to start again, but it was an opportunity to open up the door. And now slowly but surely start rebuilding those connections, rebuilding that trust, my own credibility, and hopefully start moving up as time goes on. So that, I think you nailed it there. That is definitely something that has been tough. It hasn't been an easy one at all.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people when they come over, they treat LinkedIn or other platforms like very much like what you said, very transactional. You know, I'm coming over, I need a job. You're shooting yourself in the foot. I think that's very, very short-sighted. Just my opinion from doing this for over 10 years. And the reason for that is what you've just said. It might not be your new position, but you could very well be speaking to a managing director of a company that you want to be looking at in 2 or 3 years' time. I've had so many clients that will get a job you know, within the first 3 or 4 months of job searching, and they'll be like, oh, that was really tough. And then they'll be here for a year or two and they'll be like, oh, Des, can you remember that company that was my first choice? They've actually just come back to me and they've said that they'd like to offer me a job. And I wasn't even looking. And I'll be like, oh, well, that's great. That's just a testament to, you know, you're here, you're getting the experience, you're making yourself known in the industry. And it goes back to treating every first impression with someone as a lasting impression. So you're not trying to enter those areas and being like, what can you do for me? But rather, this is me as a person. This is how I work. This is my situation. This is what I could contribute in any company, and leave it there. And then if you're still interested in that company and you see they have a role available, yes, then you could reach out to that connection and say, hey, I've been chatting with you on and off. I see there's this role. I'd be really interested in getting to know about this role. Who could I speak to? And then have that person come back to you. But definitely wouldn't treat every interaction as a transactional arrangement, because I think it's very short-sighted, because that person could very well be someone that you're wanting to speak to in the future.
Yeah, Des, that's definitely a good point. But I just want to point out, Lux 313, you're 100% right. You know, a lot of people, they think because they've worked their way up in South Africa over X, or their current country for X amount of years, they're just going to automatically come in at that level here in New Zealand. It doesn't work that way. You're 100% right, Lux out 313. I think it's been a rude awakening for a lot of people and realizing, oh, bugger, it's actually going to be a little bit more difficult. It's not that easy just to move across into those highly skilled positions. Sometimes you do have to take that step back. And then getting back to your point, Des, and I even spoke to some of the guys in the community this week, you know, you definitely, it's a small industry here in New Zealand. Okay, well, let's even take a step back. Never mind the industry. The country is actually a small country. We only have about 5.5 million, 6 million people in the entire country. Then if you take all those people, not all of them are the workforce. So let's just say, and I don't know the stats, let's just say we cut that in half. So only 2.5 million are the workforce. Then you've got to take that workforce and you've got to whittle it down into your sectors that you actually work in. And then that shows you how small your industry can be here. So it just re-highlights how important those relationships are. So when you meet people, don't burn any bridges. And maybe even if you go for interviews while you're here or from out of country or whatever else, and you're not successful, you never know what tomorrow brings. And because the industry is so small, I'm in the IT industry, I've found in the last 3.5 years, it's almost the same people, like senior people, that are moving around between key companies and everything like that. So it is a small industry. So you've got to keep those relationships. Don't burn them, even more so than I found back in South Africa. So I'm not saying you should ever burn relationships or anything, ever, anywhere in the world. I'm just trying to highlight how much more I find it's important here because we're actually such a small industry, we're a small country, we are built on relationships. It's a big thing for us.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%.
Yep. Now, tell me, culture-wise here in the workplace, what's your opinion on the cultures here in the workplace? Are they, well, let me share what I find. I find, that one of the big things I came across here for was work-life balance, okay? And I think a lot of people want to come to New Zealand because it is about, well, for us, it's all about family, it's about work-life balance. It was about, changing my life a little bit as well. Back in South Africa, I was so career orientated. I wasn't spending enough time with family, wasn't making memories with the family enough. And I thought, no, I'm going to change that. When I come here, it is going to be about my family. It is going to be spending time with them. So I've really made that a priority. Now, I find that in New Zealand, they are very much about family and they're good with that. But it doesn't just happen naturally, meaning you've got to reiterate and force and make sure you make the time for your family, so you don't work the extra hours. You do only clock on at a certain time, clock off at a certain time, or balance your time flexibly so that you're not putting in more than your 8 hours a day or whatever else to make time for family. They're very good with it and they're okay that you go spend time with family. But if you start working longer, I've found you got to push back and say, hey, no, hold on, time out. That can wait till tomorrow. I'm making time for family. But they are definitely family orientated. If my kids have been sick, I can explain. My daughter got ill last year, and we actually spent a whole year in the hospital. A whole week in the hospital. Sorry, a whole year. Geez, that would be awful. No, a whole week in the hospital with her. And everybody at work was so supportive. And even not only at work, but even in the community, her school friends, parents, and everything, they were incredible. They're all about family and supporting. So that was really, that is their culture. Do you find it's the same, Des?
Absolutely. I've had quite a few clients come to me and they're quite surprised and they're like, oh, school finishes at like 2:00 here, and my employer is quite happy for me to go pick them up and work the rest of the day at home. Now, I'm not saying every employer is like that. I'm just saying most of the time, most employers are quite understanding that you have a family and you have to prioritize your family. And I've found that that's very comforting to a lot of people from other countries, because it's not the same in most countries. I can't speak for every country. And similarly, I feel that, employers here, if you need to take an afternoon, and I see it with my kids' school all the time, if there's an assembly, it's always packed with parents. If there is something going on at the school, it's always packed with parents, because employers are quite flexible and they actually encourage you to prioritize your family and be at those events. And I think that's the one awesome thing that is different, but not only just in the workplace, but and this is a funny one for me. I've had a couple of clients come to me and they said, they were doing an online interview with a company, and their spouse was actually pulled into the interview. And then, the spouse was asked, well, what do you do? What would you be looking for in our area? And the spouse was completely caught off guard, because this is not how we normally interview. We don't call a spouse, but they did. And they asked, what would your wife be comfortable in a rural setting? What would your husband do if you were put in this location? And they really tried to make it a family focused interview, because they understand that if your family's not happy, you're not happy. So they really focus on those things. And again, I'm not saying every employer is like that, but it is certainly a really strong theme that I do see in most employers in New Zealand.
Yeah, no, for sure. I've definitely seen that as well. You're 100% right on that, Des. It is very much family focused. And Luxout 313, you're 100%. Just, I know we were talking about it a little bit earlier, but you're right. That's why employers, they do be careful with who they choose. And I also found that the process of interviewing here, as much as they're very thorough with looking through the technical abilities and whatever else, they're very big on checking that the person that they hire, to your point, will fit in with the team, is the right culture fit. They're big on that. They really, really are. Attitude is a huge thing. I mean, I've seen with a lot of local managers that I've gone through recruitment with, when we're finding candidates together, they would always ask me, Brett, yeah, okay, cool, the technical's good, or whatever, we can teach them that or whatever else. But will they work in your team? How do you feel the rest of the team will feel? I mean, I've even had it where we've brought other team members in to meet a person before we even hire. So it's a very big thing here with the culture. So definitely see that. So yeah.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, I find that interviews, I wouldn't be surprised if a good portion, a good 70% of your interview is not going to be on technical abilities.
Yeah.
It's going to be on you as a person. And I find a lot of people are always surprised with that. They'll be like, I'm not entirely sure I was in an interview because it felt like they were asking my likes and dislikes and what I'm like as a person. And I'm like, that was definitely an interview.
Yeah.
That is what a New Zealand interview looks like.
You're 100% right. I've even seen it with a lot of foreigners that I've interviewed here while in New Zealand. One of the big things we ask in the first, I don't know, it's at least not quite half the time of the interview, but we start off just trying to get to know the candidate. We're asking, and not about your CV, and I have to specifically say, tell me a bit about yourself, but not your CV, not your technical abilities, not the companies that you've worked for. I want to know about you. I want to know what your interests are. What are your hobbies? What do you enjoy doing? And that's what we start talking about. And I know some of them, they're like, really? Me? My hobbies? So it's really being prepared to talk about that, because that's important to us, is actually, are you the type of person that'll fit in and be happy in the team? So that really is a big thing for us. Des, I just want to shout out to everybody again. Oh, wow. It's really awesome to have all of you online and joining us. Any other questions, please, anything immigration related to New Zealand, be it in the job market that we're talking about now, or it could be anything visa related, or anything that's just on your mind, please post it in the chat, into the comments. We'll answer as best we can or point you in the right direction for sure. Cool. So yeah, Des, Lux 313, people need to learn to counter the questions asked back as well. It puts them in positive reaction. Yeah, I think if I'm understanding what you're saying, Lux 313, is when you're interviewing somebody, as much as we asking questions, it's for them throughout the interview to have questions ready and engage and actually ask questions as well. And if that's what you're saying, Luxout 313, 100% agree with you. There's nothing worse than being the hiring person in an interview. You're asking all these questions and the other person is just answering, but they don't have any questions for you, especially even at the end when you ask, hey, do you have any questions for us? And if they say no, that's like, oh man, you didn't prepare anything. You don't really want to know. Are you actually interested in the position? I see, Luxout 313, that's exactly what I mean, 100%, yeah. So you're right on that one. It's so important to have those questions. And one of the things that we even do with the questions is when you ask questions, okay, there's a way to ask questions. There's the right type of questions to ask, okay? So let me give you an example. If you're busy going through the interview and try and make it about you trying to think about them. Don't think about yourself. What do I mean by that? Okay, let me try and explain this. Is when I'm asking the question, I do want to know how it's going to affect me if I'm successful in the position, but I want to frame it in a way. So I'm going to use an example here. Let's say Des is interviewing me at the moment. I'll go, so Des, tell me, for the candidate that you're looking for in this position, okay, what would they need to do to be successful in this position in the next 3 months? Or Des, what are the biggest challenges you're facing at the moment that you're hoping this person that's successful in this position will be able to solve? So you're really trying to frame it that I'm getting into Des's mind to try and understand from her now, what are her pains? What are her struggles? What are her challenges? What is she hoping that this person is going to help with? Okay, so that's how you want to frame it, so that when you answer it, it's that they seeing it that you're actually interested in their side of it, their pains, what they need. But at the same time, you're also learning, okay, well, I at least need to know, okay, well, can I solve that? Have I got experience with that? And in the way you respond, you also use something that we teach in our community is the STAR response. So what you'll try to do is then make sure you back it up with, an example of what you've done in the past and achieved that's related to solving that problem. So you'll say, oh, I've had a similar situation before. This is what I was tasked with doing, and this is how I went about solving it, and that was the result. So that's what you're going to try and do with your responses. So yeah, thanks for that, Des. I'm just trying to see here if there's any other questions in the chat, just making sure. No other questions in the chat, and I know we're almost up on the half hour. Anything you wanted to add on that, Des?
Yeah, I was going to say, can I take it one step further?
Yeah.
When you ask those questions and you get those responses, don't just put those responses in your back pocket. Really think about, okay, they said that for this person to be successful, they needed to do A, B, and C in the next 3 months. And then, you need to then say, okay, well, I actually have experience with this already, so I can highlight myself. So throughout the whole interview, you're trying to keep them talking. Yeah. And I think that this is very different from most interviews, because I feel a lot of candidates sometimes are quite quiet. They're there to receive information and not keep the employer talking about their position. And you want that. You want them to share. You want them to speak about the technologies that they use. You want them to speak about, the projects that they're currently busy on. Ask them, what are the big projects that you guys are working on at the moment, and what's the background behind them. Get them talking, because the more they can talk about those things, the more you can be like, oh, that is actually a skill of mine. I could actually shine in that role. And the more you're talking, the more you can build on your own personal portfolio in that interview, basically, because you're trying to highlight what you're good at and how that can be a benefit to them in that specific role. So I think it's very important to keep the employer engaged and keep them talking about their role, their company, what they need, their goals as a company, how you fit into that. Very, very important.
I love that, Des. It is so true. It ties in with exactly really trying to, and getting them talking actually shows them that you're interested, to be really honest. Not only are you interested, but it also gives you a lot of insight into what they're actually looking for and what's important to them. So really agree with that. I just want to shout out to everybody that, we do have a community, Des and I. It's called the Soft Landing Community. So if you go into the link in my bio, it's a free community for you to join. The whole idea behind that, and I know it's going to sound so ironic that I'm bringing it up because we're on social media, is a lot of chatting for immigrants and asking questions on social media sometimes can get so noisy because you don't know who to listen to and what's the right advice and everything like that. So what we've tried to create is a safe space for you to go into where you can ask questions, where we've got people like Des that are legally allowed to answer questions and everything, and we can support one another on this journey. So please go into the bio, join the community. Not only are we there to support each other, we've got resources in there to help you along the journey. There's the job search masterclass that we've got in there. So a lot of this that we're talking about today, we teach in that masterclass as well. So there's a wealth of information to support immigrants in the community. So please, we'd love to see you in the community. And that's also a place where you can engage with us, ask questions. So yes, we'll do this every week in this time slot and be available for questions. But otherwise, if you're in the community, you can ask us at any time and we will get back to you. Des, I just want to see what some of the comments are here. So Luxout313, just really thank you so much for your engagement and chatting with us. It's really been great. You just saying, acknowledging the position and comparing it to your skill set is a question that gets a lot of employers in an interview. Yep, 100%. It's exactly what we've been saying. So perfect. Luxout313, you sound like you definitely get it. I'd love to know where you are in the world and whether you're here or you're looking for jobs. Or I'm just curious now, being nosy. And then I've got Mama Twins. What have she said? When they say they will contact your referees, do they mean people who are already in New Zealand? So from my side, when we say we're going to contact your references, I have had it where some people have references in other countries. We can contact, and I've had my internal recruitment go contact people in other countries. The only thing you got to do is make sure that whoever you've put down as a reference, they are aware they're going to be contacted. And also because of time zone differences often, when they're contacting somebody in your other country, just make sure that they're aware of that. So you tell them, hey, for example, I'm from South Africa. If I put somebody in South Africa and I'm in New Zealand, they're not going to phone them at 5:30 in the morning like we are now, so that it's your evening or whatever else. So it would need to be on email that they get the references or something like that. It is nice to have somebody local so they can pick up a phone and talk to them if they can, but you definitely can, Mama Twins. You can give references for out of country, just coordinate it right, explaining the country they're in, explaining that the referee must be ready to be able to acknowledge and respond to the reference, and that if it is in a different time zone, generally it's done via email and not a verbal call or anything like that. Anything you want to add there, Des?
No, I think most companies in New Zealand do it right. They will actually contact clients and say, look, we're interested in taking it to the next stage. We would like to contact your referees. Can they fill in these details, which will generally have like email addresses or where they're situated? I've seen that from a lot of employers. So they get that information up front, location, where they're situated, and email addresses so that they can do it right. And a lot of the time I've seen they've got online references. So employers will actually send out an online reference. Obviously, if it's a smaller company, they're going to probably want to, get onto the phone, which is absolutely fine as well. Like Brett said, just make sure you're coordinating that with both the referee in your home country or in the other country and the employer in New Zealand.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Des. Okay, so I know we're on the hour now. Des, I know you got the kiddies at home and everything like that, so you got to get into the swing of things and doing the school runs and all kinds of stuff. I got to do the same. I got to go pack lunches and everything now, and wake up the kids and get them showered, changed, and off to school. And I'm off to CBD today, so I got to go catch the bus and everything like that, and get into town. So we got to start our busy days. First off, I just want to thank all of you for joining us. Lux313 and Mama Twins, thanks for the questions that you've asked. We are going to try and, the idea is Des and I are going to do this every week in the same time slot, okay? We really just want to pay it forward and try and help, like I said, answering questions. Des is a legal immigration advisor, so she can answer questions around the immigration process. I'm a hiring manager here. We're both immigrants. We've been here for 3.5 years. So this is our way of trying to help as many other potential immigrants as possible, or immigrants that are about to move here or are here, answer any questions you may have. So please join us next week. Otherwise, if you want answers now, again, our community, the link is in the bio. Go click on the link, join our free community. We're there to answer questions and help you as much as possible. I do see, just before I sign off, there's been, what is that? UC16, thank you guys for sharing those tips. I really appreciate learning. Oh, I really appreciate that. Thank you. Thanks, Mama Twins. Thanks everybody. For those of you that are wherever you are in the world, I don't know if it's your Friday yet or if you're on Thursday evening, all depends where you are, but all of us are going into the weekend soon, so have a good weekend and we'll see you guys next week. Thank you, Des, for joining us. Been really awesome.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Brett.
Okay. Cheers, everyone. Bye.
Bye.